What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and ooh-wee, Brie Larson fans are mad. Why? Well, because people defended Chris Pratt, which may lend some credence to the fact that the Avengers cast maybe we were right about them. Now, if you haven't been following the Chris Pratt bonanza over the past few days, Twitter decided to cancel him for a wide variety of reasons. It started out with they didn't like his t-shirt because it had "Don't Tread on Me" on it. And then they didn't like that he's a Christian man. Honestly, if you look at Hollywood, they don't even, it's not like they have a percentage of non-religious people, like a small percent. It seems to be like actively avoided, actively looked down upon, and you wonder maybe just why that is, but that's for a different day, a different topic. So last night and, well, early yesterday, a bunch of the Avengers cast, including directors and obviously Robert Downey Jr. and resident psychopath Mark Ruffalo and Jeremy Renner, all came out, Zoe Saldana, all came out to defend Chris Pratt. Now, if you don't remember why they were mad at Chris Pratt again this time, it's because he's just apolitical. He's not a politically motivated guy. He doesn't do activism. He appears to be a family man. He likes his faith, and he likes to work. And that's probably why he keeps his mouth shut. Well, which is, by the way, a totally normal human reaction or human thing to do. But what Twitter saw that is obviously he's a Trump supporter and Orange Man bad, and his church is anti-LGBT and all this other just banana stuff. And they've basically come out and just said vile things to everyone defending Chris Pratt because they decided, well, he's evil. You can see Brie Larson watching MarvelCast suddenly make noise on behalf of a cast member getting online hate. Or you could see this one. Where was this energy when Brie Larson was massively being mean to for months just for advocating for diversity in the industry? And they all knew about it. Suddenly, Chris Pratt gets some criticism and they all come to his defense. Well, to be honest, he wasn't getting just some criticism. He was essentially being fully canceled for just not wanting to partake in political stuff, like fundraiser for Joe Biden. Then you see Kayleigh Donaldson saying blue check mark, so a hot take incoming. Many people have already pointed out the sheer hypocrisy of the defense given on how silent they were after Brie Larson was viciously being mean to by literal mobs of meanies. But the distraction BS here is so offensive. Mark, worst, Chris's own church is pro-conversion therapy. Now, this is obviously coming from people who are not religious, okay? They don't understand how, like, real average people practice their chosen religion. I can only speak to this as a Christian, but I assume that other religions are probably the same. Yeah, you have like the 1% that live by the word. These are the people that also, wear those vests and go boom. You also, and then also, I mean, the 1% of these people that follow the religion to the letter are usually the bad ones. And by the way, that's all religions probably. But most people worship or use spiritual, their spiritualness is just about coming together and having a sense of community. When I grew up going to church, my parents weren't like, you've got to live the word. It was like, hey, you go to church, you kind of just have conversations, mindfulness around being a good person, and then you leave church and you go scream at the TV because your sports ball team isn't winning. That's how like most people go to church. But people that have never been, or people that view religion in a negative light, which often have blue check marks, they think that everybody that goes to church is some sort of maniac. Now, I don't talk about faith very often on this channel because, again, whether you're a practicing or you're an atheist or whatever, I accept you all the same. If you're a religious person, this is a kind of a core tenet of being a Christian. I consider myself agnostic in general, but as you get older, you get kind of more, I don't know, you just start to think about stuff a little bit more in a little different way. And, ultimately church is not necessarily a terrible thing. Obviously the Catholic Church has its history. But again, the people who show up on Sunday and eat the wafer, they're not the problem generally. And anyway, so what happens? Well, now the Marvel fans, specifically Brie Larson fans, are calling out the hypocrisy. Now, the Chris Pratt debate started where Amy Berg, who has a Ruth Bader Ginsburg image as their profile icon, put a debate saying that one of the Hollywood Chris's had to go, and it was Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt. Is this Chris Pine? Is that who that is? And Chris Evans, I think, right? So now Mark Ruffalo and director James Gunn have defended Chris Pratt. James Gunn writing, "Sorry, just finding out about this nonsense. Chris Pratt is the best dude in the world. I've spent hours and hours sharing my deepest truths with this man, as he has with me. Please stop assuming what he believes politically or in any other way simply because he's Christian." Obviously, Mark Ruffalo saying, Chris Pratt is as solid as a man as there is. I've known him personally. Instead of casting aspersions, look at how he lives his life. He's just not overtly political as a rule. This is a distraction. Let's keep our eyes on the prize. We're so close now. Of course, Robert Downey Jr. then writes, "What a world. The quote sinless are casting stones at my brother Chris Pratt, a real Christian who lives by principle, has never demonstrated anything but positivity and gratitude, and he just married into a family that makes space for civil discourse and, just plain fact, insists on service as the highest value. If you take issue with Chris, I've got a novel idea. Delete your social media account, sit down with your own defects of character, work on them, then celebrate your humanness. Chris Pratt, I got your back." Jeremy Renner then shared Downey's post to his own Instagram, showing his support for Chris. Marvel fans think it's hypocritical because of course, Brie Larson. Brie Larson began trending on October 20th as fans called it the hypocrisy. Larson notably received extreme backlash over her casting as Captain Marvel and for pushing for more diversity in the MCU around the media. Rumors spread that Larson was disliked by the Marvel castmates in 2019. Don Cheadle came to her defense. However, Larson did not receive the same onslaught of support Chris Pratt did. Well, here's the interesting thing. Maybe it's true. Maybe they don't like her. I doubt it. I'm sure they all get along fine. I mean, they have, millions of reasons to get along, but maybe they don't. I mean, maybe this does mean something. Maybe coming to the defense of somebody isn't something you must do simply because they are woman. Maybe you should actually like them. And maybe all these people are coincidentally quiet because they don't like her. It's at least possible, right? Berg, who originated the Chris's meme, tweeted, "The only thing I will say is that I wish all those coming to Chris Pratt's defense had showed up for Brie Larson." And boy, that is just the beginning of it. Data Racer 117, which always puts together excellent montages is worth following, by the way, writes, "Chris Pratt's MCU co-stars are defending him from the cancel mob. They're now being bullied too. Zoe Saldana is getting the worst, being called things like a coon. Marvel panders to those woke ideologues who are now attacking them for defending a cis white man." You can see Zoe Saldana, also from Guardians of the Galaxy, saying, "No matter how hard it gets, stick your chest out. Keep your head up and handle it. Tupac. You got this, Chris Pratt. Your family, friends, colleagues, and everyone who's ever crossed paths with you knows your heart and your worth. We already looked at Mark Ruffalo's. Of course, somebody replies to Mark Ruffalo telling him to delete himself simply for defending him. Josh Gad seconded. They don't get better than Chris Pratt. Everybody out there with something very kind to say about Chris Pratt. But blue check marks are the new fan, the NU Marvel fan, writes, I hate you and your friends so much, so much. God, you're all rich, white, hetero, annoying. Just shut up. I am once again reminded that men are trash. Counterpoint, you and your friend can eat, well, you know. Seriously, shut the F up. These are the people that Ruffalo obviously panders to, of course. The way white men go about their way to defend their friends. He supports a literal fascist white supremacist. I don't care if he's not overtly political. Associating yourself with someone like this is so bad. So F you and F him. I mean, it goes on and on. I hate white men. Black and stupid, calling Zoe, going after Zoe Saldana. Just a nasty biracial woman, written to Zoe Saldana. I mean, these are the people that not only did you let into the fandom, but you actively recruited them. You see this, shut your coon, shut up you coon, basically saying that to Zoe Saldana. I mean, these people are insane, and there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these. Not political isn't an option right now. Blue check mark. Here's another blue check mark. He frequents a church, Hillsong, founded by a pastor I don't like. And they have all this history. Again, just because you go to a church, it probably is a proximity thing. And I said earlier, you probably don't embrace every little aspect of it. The luxury to not have to worry about your pal endorsing a church that supports this stuff. Really? You, Mark, are in a position where you can talk to your friend, this is to Mark Ruffalo, about how his action and inaction are harmful to people without the societal protections, platform, and wealth that you two are lucky to have. I hope you will. His church is anti-LGBT. That is extremely political at a time when people's rights and freedoms and very lives are at stake. They wrote on Twitter while doing nothing in real life. And it goes on and on and on. Not being political is not acceptable in America when good men do nothing. What did you do exactly? You wrote a tweet? You wrote a tweet. These are all people that, of course, we know the Brie, many angry Brie fans, not defending his mega blah, 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 blah. No, again, he's never endorsed any kind of political candidate. So, I think it's pretty interesting. Catherine Schwarzenegger has defended Chris after he's named Worst Celebrity Chris. Is this really what we need? The actor wrote. Pratt, this wasn't difficult at all. Pratt isn't even in the same universe as the other three. Of course, this is what, people now say because they think he supports Orange Man. This is the mindset that social media in not only endorses but actively incentivizes. She writes, is this what we need right now? There's so much going on in the world. People are struggling in so many ways. Being mean is so yesterday. There's enough love, or enough room to love all these guys. Love is what we all need, not meanness and bullying. Let's try that. I mean, I don't disagree. I think a lot of these people, all this is really just stemmed from the false rumor that he is a Trump supporter. And by the way, even if he was, that doesn't make it okay either. This coming from the diversity and inclusion crowd, of course, as usual. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.